So in this week's The Mind Changers video, I just want to talk about something called 7-11 breathing and why that breathing style or breathing process is really helpful for reducing anxiety and increasing well-being and calmness. And so 7-11 breathing is breathing in, counting to 7, and doing a deep breath, so you're breathing in from your stomach and you're breathing to fill your whole lungs. So not many people typically go through life just breathing shallow, just go, breathing with the top half of their lungs. Whereas when you want to relax and if you want to breathe in a way that's good for your well-being, you want to breathe filling the whole of your lungs. You want to, so that the air starts at the bottom, filling the bottom of your lungs, and then fills up your lungs, and then fills the top of your lungs last. And so 7-11 breathing, you'd breathe in counting to 7, and then you breathe out counting to 11. And really, it doesn't matter whether you 7-11, 3-5, whether you don't count at all. The important thing is making sure that your out breath is longer than your in breath. And the reason for that is our breathing is one of the few automatic processes that we do all day long automatically that we can also very easily control consciously. So while I'm talking, I'm breathing and not thinking about the breathing I'm doing. When I'm not talking, so I'm reading a book or something, I'm breathing and not thinking about it. When I'm stressed, or say if I was nervous in a situation, I'll be breathing and not thinking about the breathing, and there'll be a breathing pattern associated with being nervous or being stressed and having that anxiety. It's normally a very shallow breathing pattern, with the in-breaths being longer than the out-breaths. But what you can do is control that. So if you want to change your state, change your mind-body state, you can take control of the breathing. It's one process, one automatic process that you can consciously very easily take control of. And normally you breathe in and out equally. So you breathe in, say, for 4 seconds, and you breathe out for 4 seconds. And then you breathe in for 4 seconds, then you breathe out for 4 seconds. And every time you breathe in, it triggers the stress response. Every time you breathe out, it triggers the relaxation response. And ordinarily, you're not particularly anxious and you're not particularly relaxed, you're just in a nice normal state. And so you're kept in that kind of homeostasis because the in-breaths and the out-breaths are just cycling around nice and evenly. But obviously there are times when you want to become more relaxed rather than stressed. So what you want to do is make sure that you're triggering the relaxation response more than you trigger the stress response, which is why it's important in those situations to then breathe out longer than you breathe in. And 7-11 is just a really easy to remember set of numbers that remind you, right, in counting to 7, out counting to 11. And obviously we all breathe differently, so we all have different kind of lung capacities and things like that. So you don't want to be breathing in 1, 2, 3, 4, because you'll probably pass out before you reach 7. So you want to get your counting right for whatever your breathing is. So for me it might be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That'll be an in-breath. And then out-breath it might be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that would be my speed of my breathing in and out. And to me that's a comfortable rhythm. So you do it at your rhythm, but the important thing is just make sure the out breath is longer than the in breath, and that will trigger the relaxation response and help you to relax. So times it can be helpful, for example, are if you're, say, going to do public speaking, or you're going to a job interview and maybe that makes you nervous, or you're in another situation that makes you feel a bit anxious, before you get into the situation, you can do that breathing, and then you can carry that breathing on. I remember when I was working a lot with children and families, a teenager who allegedly had an anger problem and was sent to anger management by the school. So she was about to be permanently excluded, but they said, no, we'll send her to this anger management course. If she does the course okay and turns her anger around so she's not angry all the time and not hitting people all the time, then she can stay. So she went on this anger management course. They taught her that when you get angry, clench your fist up as tight as you can and then let it relax. And as it relaxes, so your body will relax also. And that's very similar to what people like myself would do, where you do progressive body muscle relaxation techniques, where you can say, just tense up those muscles and now relax them. Because when you tense up the muscles, the tendency is that if you hold that tension for a while, when you finally get to release that tension, it goes beyond where it was initially to a point even more relaxed. So that obviously then relaxes your body, which relaxes your mind, and if you have anger problems, that obviously then lowers the anger. The difficulty was that this girl was desperate not to get excluded. She really, she's saying to me, I really don't want to get excluded. And so she engaged in the anger management. But what would happen was she'd be in the playground, a child would be winding her up as far as she would see it. She would want to respond by hitting them, but instead she would tense up her fists to do her relaxation technique. And what was happening was that she would tense up her fists and the other kids would whack her, because they would think she's tensed up her fists, she's known for hitting people, she's about to hit them. So as soon as she tensed up her fists, they would hit her, she would then get angry because they've just thumped her, she would then attack them back. And so although these fights were coming out as it didn't look like she was the instigator of it, and they were saying she was about to hit me, she was saying I wasn't about to hit them, I was trying to do my relaxation technique. So I taught her 7-11 breathing. I said, look, if you do this breathing technique, no one else knows you're doing it. No one knows you're doing a technique because it's not visible. Unless someone's looking at your breathing pattern, it's not visible. It's not like clenching a fist and them seeing your fist get clenched. So she learnt this 7-11 breathing technique. I didn't focus on teaching her anything relating to anger management beyond this one technique, just so that she didn't have to do the clenching fist thing. And it totally transformed her way of being at school. She suddenly wasn't getting aggressive because she could calm herself down. And she didn't feel stupid about what she was doing because no one could see that she was doing a technique. So it's a really good way of calming you down if, say, you're getting aggressive, or you have anger issues or anything like that, or anxiety. So if you're getting anxious, again, it's really good for calming that anxiety, because any strong emotion clouds your judgment and stops you making sensible, logical choices and decisions and seeing multiple perspectives. So when you're angry or when you're anxious, you get locked on to one view of the world, and so you don't see other alternative views. And so you can suddenly feel very helpless and feel like there's no way out apart from the way out I'm going to do, which might be to fight your way out or scream and shout and get and run away or something. And so with this, it helps to calm your mind and body and helps you just to be in that better place. Now, in the next video, Dr. David Lewis is going to take you through a breathing process and some breathing techniques from the work he's done around breathing. And then in my final video, I will do a guided process where you can practice these breathing techniques while calm and relaxed, so you can mentally rehearse using them in future situations where you might need them. So if you don't want to miss those videos, make sure you subscribe to this channel. And if you find these videos helpful, obviously give them a thumbs up. If you think they'll help someone else, feel free to share them with people. And if you find them really helpful, or you've got comments to share or any questions, feel free to put them in the comments space below. But if you subscribe to the channel and you click the bell button that is to make sure you get notified when this channel posts videos. You'll then not miss any of our future videos.